I'm glad that we got you out of it at
That
least.
was you. Why are you in the dark? Get in the light, bro. What's going on?
Because I'm
I
just
want
the
to light
mystery
you up.
man with the cherry ash right now.
Okay, you got the cherry ash. All right. Yeah. Okay. We're all
We're
good.
outside. We're outside in the freezing cold. Oh, there you can
It's
kind of see.
oh my god, it must be so cold because right now where I'm at, it's cold as F. It's so cold, and it's
Is there
55
ice and
degrees
snow on the
Fahrenheit.
ground? Stig,
And
is there ice and snow on the ground?
you
This is
must be so much colder than me. And oh my
well,
god, it's
ice
cold.
and snow is cold as F. Okay,
Oh, where's my
you are
jacket?
tropical. Like I'm gonna be right. We're gonna do a stream where Stig's gonna be in like a toque or a beanie and a sweater and a jacket, and Bernie's gonna be in a t-shirt and shorts, being like, "It's so hot."
Well, that's what he said. He said he's all hot. I'm like cold and I'm ready to get in the jacket right now, man. Oh my god.
Oh dear.
Let's get in here. Oh, it's so cold around here. I got the
Okay,
heater
there's my
running.
face.
There you
See,
are.
you can
Welcome.
see it. I've got the
Welcome.
fur, I've
Oh my
got
god.
the hoodie,
Look,
I've got the. Oops.
Bernie, you gotta give you
I can't wait to be in California. Yeah. So I'll be there for 2 full months. Just gonna show my friend Josh's epic art in the room off here quickly. So well that's why we're facing up, just showing the art. Yeah, we're good, we're good. All right. So I didn't want to back too much. I gotta get going, but so you get back to your presentations and epic work, my friends. And
All
Stig, you're
right,
muted
thanks.
if you're trying to talk. Love you both. Much
Yeah,
love.
you muted, Stig. You muted yourself. He always doing something, man. He always doing something. Now you muted yourself on the thing. Yeah, you muted yourself. Hit M on your keyboard. It should unmute yourself or your microphone. Something just happened. I don't know what happened to you, man. You over there messing with stuff. Yeah, there you go. See, perfect. No, you still muted. Now I can't hear you at all. And you're not even muted. What you do? What you always messing with stuff? You always messing with stuff. You always pressing buttons. Look at you. See? Yeah, you went back to being mute. See, he always doing something. He always messing with something. But this is perfect time for me to promote my book while we're waiting for him. So while you're waiting for him, this is my book, Journey Through the Origins of History. It's a bestseller on Amazon, or was a bestseller. It stays in the top 100. I also have a website, rebirthoftheword.com. I write articles on there, and I share all my stuff on there. I also have a YouTube channel, so subscribe to my YouTube. It's Rebirth of the Word 7099. I say that again, Rebirth of the Word 7099. And what I like to do is I have a series on there where it's called What I've Learned from Reading These Books. So I pick a book in my library and I just go over it. I have a lot of tabs on there. I also have a Kindle, which I get a lot of books on there. So I do them on my Kindle also. I do a lot of
hello.
You good?
You hear me?
I was just promoting myself while
Keep talking. Go on. Keep talking. No, don't stop.
No, I was just saying that I was just promoting myself. I was already pretty much done.
And what happened to Bernie? He just split. He finished. He
just wanted to. Yeah, he just wanted to promote to his audience to come in to watch the show and stuff like that.
Okay. Wow. All right. Thank you, Anna. Anna been talking about.
You think Atlantis is where you think Atlantis is at? You believe it's the capital of Atlantis?
Okay, so let's just say this, and let me just show you with my thing here that is Plato. Plato wrote. This is the Mediterranean.
I was actually going to get into what the in between tales was going to say. That's where I was getting towards. That's why I asked the question because I wanted to see what you was going to say about this part next. So yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so the shoal of mud. I have a slide on that, and I don't have it handy, but Do you think a shoal of mud is going to happen in the middle of the Azores? The shoal of mud? I don't think the shoal of mud is going to be happening out in the
Well,
middle
show
of
people
the
where
Atlantic
Azores
Ocean.
is at real quick so they can see it.
It's right there. Can you wait? Let me see if I can remove it. That's the Azores right there, right? And I already checked it. Let me just pull it out. That's the Azores right there. Now you're going to say that that equals 200,000 square kilometers? I don't really think it does, and it means that it doesn't equal the amount of land.
Where do you get that? Where you get that number from?
From Plato? From Plato.
Yeah, which one? Which one?
Critias. He mentions the level plain. He says it's at least 200,000 square kilometers, 400 by 600. He does it in stadia, but if you calculate it in stadia,
yeah. No, I was just asking because it does say that. It says right here. It says the whole country was said by him to be very lofty and precipitous on the side of the sea, but the country immediately about surrounding the city was a level plain, itself surrounded by mountains which descended towards the sea. It was smooth and even, and of an oblong shape extending in one direction 3,000 stadia, but across the center inland it was 2,000 stadia.
what the hell, man? That was a lot of wind just now outside. I hope that my Starlink isn't getting messed with, and it's so far so good, right? That was harsh though, just now outside, and I hope I'm showing it to the public. This is the level plane I think you're talking about right here. Look, I mean, we don't. What you just read doesn't mention the fact that it doesn't go straight out into the Atlantic Ocean. It's the mountains. You said surrounded by mountains. Where are those mountains? The mountains to the north is what I remember. Am I not correct that Plato wrote the mountains to the north? Because the mountains to the north, in my opinion, were the Atlas Mountains. And for the earlier, we were talking about water and why it was so far inland. And the thing that I never got to mention before, Bernie popped in, was the fact that the Taman Rasset River came right through where my arrow is, right through here, coming out right here, right there where you got your shoal of mud. There's your mud, in my opinion, and you've got your Taman Rasset coming right out through here, just north of the Eye of the Sahara. And yes, I believe that was an ancient sea. And yes, I believe there's a lot of controlled water in this whole area. But the Taman Rasset Paleo River went right along this area here. And I do think that you have a lot of proof that there was ancient quarrying in that area. Like this part right here. There's just too much going on. Those walls and this ancient, like these cuts, they're 3 different directions, and that's the thing that I'm talking about right here. A lot of stuff was going out there in the Sahara Desert. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Ask your next question.
No, it's just interesting because the ocean, it does talk about when you go to Critias or Critias. What I like to do is like I said, if you know how to use technology, you don't have to worry about trying to read the whole thing to find a piece of word that you're looking for. So what I like to do is I like to hit Control F on my keyboard, and it brings up a little search box, and then you can type in, especially if it's online, you can type in what word you're looking for, and it'll take you straight to every sentence that had that, or every word that's in that book or whatever. So when you type in ocean, one of the first things that you'll get to is when it talks about. It says, of the combatants on the one side, the city of Athens was reported to have been the leader and to have fought out the war. The combatants on the other side were commanded by the kings of Atlantis, right? Which, as was saying, was an island greater in extent than Libya and Asia, and when afterwards sunk by an earthquake, became an impassable barrier of mud to voyages sailing from hence to any part of the ocean. So that mud barrier was an impassable barrier, okay, that happened after the earthquake. And it was, you know, hard for them to get to any part of the ocean. And it also says the barbarians and families of the Hellenes, which then existed as they successfully appear on the scene. But I must describe, first of all, Athenians of that day and their enemies who fought with them, and then the respective powers and governments of two kingdoms. Let us give the precedence to Athens. You go to the second one, you go to where it talks about the second part about the ocean, and it says, and he named them all. The eldest, who was the first king, he named Atlas, and after him the whole island and the ocean were called Atlantic. So they already knew where the Atlantic Ocean was, and they already had a name for the Atlantic Ocean at that time. So, but there's no description of, like you said, Atlantis being in the Atlantic Ocean.
Right. It's not about just the Atlantic Ocean. It's about past the Pillars of Hercules.
Mhm.
That's where they were saying it. And when you get into the mud, look at this image right here. I shared this on purpose because the impassable barrier of mud, it doesn't make sense if it's out in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. It's more sense if it's part of the continent that we can say is bigger than Libya and Asia combined. That continent, that island, was the comment that Plato mentioned in the first Timaeus, when he was introducing the story, and he said something like this, and he was talking about mud. What you don't understand is mud doesn't just grow around an island in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean like the Azores. Mud grows around something like a river exit, like if you look at any river. Well, why does it dry up? There's more than just the mud. There's more to the story, I believe, in my heart. But when you mention the mud, it's not going to happen in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. It's happening up against the coastline, in my opinion. And Chris Tolworthy. By the way, this slide comes from Chris Tolworthy. He doesn't really watch my stuff anymore. He's been doing his own thing. But he opened my eyes. Chris Tolworthy, so many things he said about Atlantis that I now understand better. Moving on from this slide.
You'll do me a favor, bring up this slide that I just presented, because I want to show you how I can understand why you believe what you believe. And just like I can believe why some of the people believe the other stuff that they believe, because I see the evidence within in the best way that I possibly can. So this is the Strong's Concordance, right? And this is, oh, you took it down. Yeah, so this is Strong Concordance. I like this because this is used a lot when you're trying to translate what's written in the Bible. And it comes from the Greek translations, basically. The Greek translations from the Hebrew and the Aramaic text and so on and so forth, right? So when you go to the Strong's Concordance and you're looking up island, right? Or coastland, some people will call it. It basically means dry land, a coast, an island. So where you believe Atlantis is, it's dry land. This is according to the Greeks themselves. And it also means the number one means that it's properly a habitable spot. Now, where you showed where the water was around it, and that's just an guesstimate on how it looked, that would be an absolute place that would be a habitable spot to live, a desirable spot. Maybe not no more as much as it was before in the past that it is now, but it literally tells from Ava properly a habitable spot as desirable, the dry land, a coast, an island country right here. Isle, or island. And it comes from the Hebrew word ava. Okay. And you can just click on that and it'll tell you the same thing. It'll give you all the information about it. Uh, Here we go. Basically, something desired, had a craving, been greedy, to wish for. I mean, you look at different ways of these words, and it tells you, it gives you the Bible's scriptures of where it uses the words in its ways, and that's why I was asking, what other text can be described as Atlantis? Like, could it be described in the Holy Bible in some ways? You would have to read about. You can see where it says, "Here, let's go right here." Um, oh, it's not going to do it in the way that I want it to do it. But you could read where it talks about on the land, the coastlands of the sea, and then you can see of Tarshish and of the islands bring presents. You know, of Tarish and the Isles of shall bring the king bring, and then it says the international version, the kings of Tarish, the islands presenting bring, and it just tells you different things. So that's why I was asking about. You asked earlier, like we don't have anything that really talks about Atlantis except Plato, but is that only because we're looking at the lamest words that Plato used, and we're not using the symbolism and the allegory that's written in these different texts that might can depict an Atlantis? And I believe that Atlantis was described in certain texts, and possibly in the Bible. If you look at it as reading the coastlines and how um, strong they were at that time, but that goes back to their time frame. It doesn't go back to Atlantis time frame. But we also know that cities that they may carry over for thousands and thousands of years. So at the bare minimum, what I'm basically saying is that what where you believe Atlantis is, according to the Greeks, an island could have literally been dry land.
Thank you. No, it's not even dry land. It's they had I mean, as a Google Earther, I believe there's water not just coming from that 10% Paleo River, but all around. They were doing all these water things, and whatever cataclysm brought it down, that mud, that cataclysm, I believe it was something that was closer than over there. It was like right in the middle of it, and yeah, the water definitely got shut down. A lot of stuff got shut down from that cataclysm, in my opinion.
Yeah, and that's what a lot of people say is we lost a lot of our information after that. After what happened, we lost a lot of information. But that's why I say what is so fascinating about Atlantis, and what technology that they have that's so fascinating, because in reality, what did they contribute to us for us to remember them? The only thing that we know about them is that Plato talks about it on older civilization. And that's it.
Well, there's what
Civilization.
Plato wrote, and
And
then
they
there's
talk,
what Plato didn't write.
yeah,
If you
and
want to
then they
focus
talk
on what
about
Plato
gods
wrote,
too. Yeah, and they talk about gods and stuff like that too. So they say that, because Plato and the time frame of the cataclysm, 12,000, 13, 15, 20,000 years ago, that's older than, you know, most that's older enough, of course, than the Bible. But we also know that the Bible is not the oldest text out there. There's text from the Sumerians, there's text from the Akkadians. You know what I'm saying? And if you go off a pictographic script, some people will say that the ancient Egyptian civilization started around 5500 BC because of their writing system. But then you will hear people say that the Sphinx itself goes back 18 to 20 to 30, possibly 1,000 years ago. So it's just, if even if we find Atlantis to be wherever it's at, um, does that mean that they were more advanced than the people in Egypt if we have water erosion that's in Egypt? And then Gobekli Tepe can possibly go back maybe 18 or 20,000 years, depending on whenever we find out how old it is. The actual date for digging it all up will be older than Atlantis. So what is so? And I know you said now that you're not really, you don't really bother about it too much. But the reason why I wanted to talk to you about this today is because you've already exhausted all your ability into it. I mean, you've been there 3 times. Okay, nobody who has countered what you said has been there. They just go off of what somebody else says, right? They haven't been there for themselves, and I know that's why you're making a trip to Spain, because you want to see what other people are saying when it talks about Spain. You want to see it for yourself. You're a boots on ground type of person. I think that's
Well,
very
it's my third
commendable.
trip to Spain. It would be my third trip, and
Oh, so you've already been there.
I've been to Spain twice. Cadiz, Michael Donnellan's Cadiz. I've been there twice, and there's
Okay,
a star fort right there. It's old as heck, but I do believe that the story of Atlantis is that the twin of Atlas received that allotment next to Cadiz, and the Atlas Mountains are right there, and those Atlas Mountains are what Plato was talking about when he said mountains to the north. So the big question is how far south of the Atlas Mountains did the concentric circles exist? And it might be where I'm looking at down in Mauritania, or it might be a little farther north. But that's okay. But we do know that Atlantis was right there by the Atlas Mountains. The Atlas Mountains was Atlantis.
Yeah, so and I'm glad you said that, because I understand it better now. You don't you believe it's in that general area, but you believe that their remains of the quarrying and what they were doing is in that area also. But where did you think they was quarrying for? What was they like? Do you,
Earth,
I mean,
everything that, what are we quarrying for now? Everything
Yeah.
we're quarrying for now, they were quarrying for. Except maybe a gold for sure, but were they looking for what's in our batteries right now? These batteries that we're producing for our electric cars, that's probably part of it. They're quarrying for everything. The same thing we're quarrying for.
Yeah, and I'm glad you explained that. I just wanted to make sure, because I know we've been talking. We said we was going to keep this pretty short, and it's already been an hour already, a little bit over an hour. I just wanted to make sure to put in there that I can see your argument because of the evidence that you presented, but I see it also because I can use the Greek translations of what island means. I know if the strong concordance says a dry land. If I look at it today, yeah, I know the surrounding area wasn't dry land, but the areas that they may have inhabited could have been considered something that would be, in that area, and it was considered dry land. An island doesn't mean an island of what we understand today.
Look,
It's in
it's
the middle of
about the
water.
Atlantis island was bigger than Asia and Libya combined. That,
Yeah.
by definition, is a continent. Thank
Yeah.
you, David Miano, for saying that, but it's true. And, that so-called continent, it's not an island anymore. Also, don't forget that Plato mentioned the islands in the open sea. He said there's diverse islands in the open sea. Open sea means past the Pillars of Hercules, past this big continent. It's not this big island anymore. It's the open sea. And one of the twins of Atlas had a same name similar to the Azores. So that same twin could have been the king. But when it comes to right here, right there, the Morocco Atlas Mountains and everything south of it, that's what I believe is what Plato was talking about. And he made it very clear in his writings. Go through the Pillars of Hercules. It's across from Cadiz. Cadiz is in Spain. I've been there twice. And yeah, I want to go back. And I do believe what Michael Donnellan has found is very significant. But that went to the twin. It didn't go to the king. It didn't go to Atlas. South of the mountains, that was the Taman Reset and the ancient Paleo River, and basically the Eye of the Sahara. However, you know what? I found another structure named what I forgot his name, but he showed us this other structure. There's a lot of these circles out there, so there's all sorts of stuff that could have been real out there, especially closer to the Atlas Mountains. I believe that.
Yeah.
I believe it in my heart.
Well, yeah, that's really about it, man. I think we covered it pretty good and good timing.
All right.
I like how you pointed out for the fact that you believe the main part is in one location and the twin had the other. So you're not denying the other ones. You're just saying, hey, this is where the bread and butter was at. And I respect that and I like that. This was actually I like this conversation.
That's what Plato wrote. That's what Plato said. The twin received the allotment of land closer to the Pillars of Hercules, across from Cadiz. What does that even mean to you? Does that mean out in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean? Not to me. It means he got the Atlas Mountains. He got Morocco.
All right. Well, that's it, man. That's all the questions I had.
All right, bro. You know what? It's already 9:30 where I'm at, and I'm so sleepy. I don't know if you could tell, but I've been so sleepy. I don't even want to talk about it. But let's get our act together and keep going with this and talk about it more. We got 74 viewers. Where's all that coming from? Is that from you? Is that from Crypto? I got a lot of comments from Crypto. Crypto's out there still.
I think it's from Crypto too. Yeah.
Thank you, Bernie, for your help. You came in, you came out. Thank you for that. And yeah, look, I didn't show any of my slides, and I got a whole bunch of them. So if you want to do this again, I'll show you all the slides I've got that prove.
Yeah, we'll just have this one be the prequel.
Not only was there something going on in this area where I'm showing you here by the Rock of Gibraltar, the Pillars of Hercules, the Strait of Gibraltar, but also the rest of the world, South America, North America. I can show you stuff, and I believe it was a big part of the previous civilization before Atlantis.
All right, yeah.
We're out. Are we out? We got more viewers right now, 77 viewers. We got the chance to take advantage. Give us your channel one more time, and I'll give you my channel. My channel is @stig. Just go to my middle name, @stig. What's your channel?
For my YouTube is Rebirth of the Word 7099.
Rebirth of the World, and by the word, not world. Rebirth of the Word 7099. It's easy to find. I found it a few times. And yeah, you do a lot of great reading, and you're the man who have pointed out that what Chitzen wrote is not true about Anunnaki. Let's hear one more thing about that before you go.
Yeah, there's no planet Nibiru that orbits our sun every 3,600 years, and the Anunnaki did not come there to mine gold here on Earth.
This belonged to the beginning of the video right there. That belonged to the beginning. But it's true, and I believe you on that. And it's been a misconception, and it's been a deflection, and now we're thinking maybe Sitchin was even, according to the stuff I was just watching by another YouTuber, that he was a CIA plant, and he was just giving us this information to deflect the truth.
It did a good job, I'm telling you. I can't believe how gullible some people are when it comes to this stuff because of the simple fact.
Oh my God. Can you believe that Anna just donated $100? What the heck? Anna, is that happening right now? Now I've got to go figure out my bank account because the money's going to Taiwan. I gotta go get the money's going to Taiwan. Anna, the money's going to Taiwan. Please. Okay. Thank you, Anna. Thank you so much. Oh, elongated skulls. Don't even start me on elongated skulls, because those are the evidence that there's this other group of creatures on this planet that nobody acknowledges. Oh my God, yeah, Anna. That is proper. Thank you, Anna. Oh my gosh. I gotta go get that money, man. I gotta go to my other channel. I gotta get my money. So I gotta go to Taiwan to get that money. It's in a Taiwan bank account. I'm so like, thank you, Anna. Anna said she's gonna talk to us after the show. Are you gonna be there for this conversation? You gonna hang out and talk to Anna?
Yeah, I'll be there.
All right, cool. Let's end this. And Howard says LMA. Yeah, Howard, I know because of Anna. I'm just in shock. And yeah, I've been doing a lot of stuff, man. I've been doing a lot of stuff, but at the same time, I'm only one guy. So where do we stop? Where do we start? And where do we go from here? Thank you, Anna. That was amazing. That was amazing. And yeah, fake Peruvian. Okay, Tony, thank you for that. But let's get out of here and let's end this now. Thank you so much, everybody. And we're going to talk off stream, right? Anna, why aren't you in our stream right now? Because she has a lot to talk about. Okay. We're out of here.
All right, bro.
Y'all have a good evening, every folks. We'll talk offline. Thank you so much, everybody. Oh, yeah. One more time on your book. Go.
Journey Through the Origins of History. Get it on Amazon. It was a bestseller on her.
All right. Thank you so much, everybody. And we're going to do this every night. We're not done. Check out my channel. We're not done. This is all happening. Thank you so much. We're going to do an outro. Ready? Here it comes.